My entitled best friend expected me to pay for every night out, giggling, "You have a better job, so it's your responsibility." When I stopped covering the bill, she threw a fit in a fancy restaurant, screaming, "You're so cheap." Her face went pale when the waiter announced, "Ma'am, if you can't pay, you'll need to work off your meal, or we're calling security." I, 34 female, had been friends with Rachel, 33 female, since college. We met at the University of Illinois during freshman orientation. We hit it off fast. Same sarcastic sense of humor, same taste in music, and we both hated our dorm roommates. We moved in together sophomore year and stayed roommates until graduation. We even joked about living in the same neighborhood when we were older. And for a while, it seemed like that would happen. After school, we both ended up in Chicago. I got a job as a financial analyst and Rachel started doing freelance graphic design. At first, things were fine. She made enough to get by. I was making decent money, enough to pay bills, save, and have a life. We were both still living that young adult in the city, lifestyle, happy hours, dinners out, concerts when we could swing it. Then things started to shift. At first it was subtle. Rachel would forget her wallet. Or she'd say, "Oh shoot, rent just came out. Can you cover me tonight?" I didn't think much of it. She was my best friend. I figured I'd cover her a few times and she'd pay me back or get the next time. But the next time never came. Every outing, it became a pattern. She'd order more than me, multiple cocktails, appetizers, dessert, the works, and when the bill came, she'd just slide it across the table with this giggly, "You've got this, right?" Then she'd add, "You have a real job. You can totally afford it." I'd laugh it off at first. I mean, I could afford it. It wasn't going to break me. But after about 6 months of this happening every time we went out, I started to feel resentful. Not because of the money, but because of the entitlement. She never even offered to split. Not once. Anytime I brought it up, she'd act offended. "Wow, okay, I guess money matters more than friendship to you." Or, "Oh come on, you know I'm not making what you do. I'll pay you back when I land a big client." That client never seemed to show up. The tipping point came when she planned a birthday dinner for herself at a high-end French place in downtown Chicago. Le Jardin. I checked the menu online before going. Entrees were $50 plus, and that's without drinks or sides. I considered not going, but then I figured, fine. Maybe this time she'll cover her own meal, since it's her event. Nope. She showed up in a new dress and heels. She told me last week she couldn't afford rent, but sure, sat down and ordered a $25 cocktail. Then oysters. Then duck confit. Then chocolate soufflé. I ordered a pasta dish and a glass of wine. The bill came. Over $300 for the two of us. She didn't even pretend to reach for her wallet. She pushed the bill toward me like always, smirking. I paused. I looked at her. I said, "Rachel, we're splitting this." She blinked. Then laughed. "You're kidding." "No, I'm not. This is getting out of hand. I've been covering everything for over a year." She got loud. "Are you serious? You're being so cheap right now. We've been friends forever. You know I'm struggling." The restaurant was quiet. People turned to look. I kept my voice calm. "I've told you before this isn't about money. It's about respect. I don't mind helping now and then. But you expect it. You demand it. That's not okay." She stood up. Full-on tantrum. "I can't believe you're doing this to me in public. You're embarrassing me." At that point, the waiter came over. He looked uncomfortable. "Is there a problem here?" Rachel pointed at me like I was the villain in a soap opera. "Yeah, she's refusing to pay the bill." The waiter glanced at both of us, then said, very calmly but loud enough for others to hear, "Ma'am, if you can't pay, you'll need to work off your meal, or we're calling security." Rachel's face lost all color. She froze. Dead silent. The waiter added, "We've had to deal with this before. It's restaurant policy." She looked at me, eyes wide, like I'd just betrayed her. I didn't say anything. I just sat there. She reached into her purse and pulled out a card. Declined. She tried another one. Declined. third time it worked, but just barely. She looked humiliated. I paid my half in cash and left. She texted me the next day saying I had completely ruined her birthday and publicly humiliated her. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. She blocked me 2 days later. We haven't spoken since. Our mutual friends are split. Some think I overreacted. Others say I should have cut her off way earlier. But I don't care about the drama anymore. She wasn't a friend. She was using me. A week after Rachel blocked me, things got real weird, real fast. At first, it was peaceful. No angry texts, no calls, no passive-aggressive comments on social media. It was like she vanished from my life. I was almost relieved. Then a friend of ours, Tina, sent me a screenshot. It was a long Facebook post from Rachel's profile, and I was the main character. Not by name, but it was obviously about me. She wrote about how her so-called best friend left her high and dry during her birthday dinner, humiliated her in front of strangers, and refused to help a struggling friend in need. She twisted everything. Claimed I lured her to an expensive place and set her up to fail. People were commenting stuff like, "Wow, you're better off without toxic people like that," and "She sounds jealous of you, girl." Jealous? Of what? Tina asked me if I was going to respond. I said no. I figured it would die down on its own. But it didn't. I started noticing some of our shared friends acting different. Not replying to my texts. Leaving me out of weekend plans. One even told me, "I don't want to get in the middle of whatever happened between you and Rachel." So apparently, I was the problem now. Fine. Let them think what they want. Then I got a call from my manager. "Hey, just a heads up. Someone emailed HR claiming you've been using your corporate card for personal dinners. It's probably nothing, but we have to check into it." I was frozen. That was serious. If they thought I was misusing company money, I could lose my job. I always kept receipts. Always separated work meals from personal ones. I even had folders on my desktop to prove it. I asked HR who sent the email. They wouldn't say. But I knew. I went straight into my files, pulled everything I had, and sent it to HR within an hour. It cleared up quick, thank God. But I was rattled. Someone actually tried to take me down professionally over a dinner bill. 2 days later, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. "You think you're better than everyone. Hope that job keeps you warm when you have no friends." I didn't reply. I blocked it. But I kept thinking, was this her plan all along? Was she that bitter? That entitled? Then came the twist I really didn't see coming. I got an email from a client. A long-time one. She said she saw some posts online and wanted to confirm a few things before continuing work together. When I asked what she meant, she sent me a link. It was a blog. Someone had written a post titled, "When Friends Abuse Their Power," a cautionary tale about financial gaslighting. The blog didn't use my name, but it mentioned my job title, city, and even the restaurant. It painted me as manipulative, controlling, and obsessed with status. It accused me of using money to control friendships and shame those with less. It was Rachel. It had to be. Her writing style. The dramatic tone. The guilt-tripping. I should have felt angry. But mostly, I felt sick. She wasn't just mad. She wanted to destroy me. And the worst part? She was clever about it. She never named me, never crossed a legal line, but it was targeted enough that people who knew both of us could figure it out. She knew exactly how to play the victim and stir up support. I decided I had to do something. Not to get revenge. Not even to clear my name. Just to stop the bleeding. I started collecting everything. Screenshots. Messages. The original Facebook post. The blog. The texts. Even the voicemail Tina said Rachel left her once, venting about how she wouldn't let that fake bitch get away with it. I didn't know what I'd do with it yet, but I was ready if this got worse. And it did. A few weeks after collecting everything, I thought maybe things would cool off. I hadn't heard anything new, and part of me hoped Rachel had finally moved on. But I was wrong. It started when I noticed someone following me on Instagram with a familiar username. It looked like Rachel's old account, but the profile picture was a random quote and the name was different. Still, it gave off the same vibe. The account would view all my stories the second I posted them. Then it started liking old photos, pictures of me at dinners, me with coworkers, and even one from the night at Le Jardin where all this began. Then came the DMs. From burner accounts. One read, "People talk. You're not who you pretend to be." Another one, "You might have fooled your boss, but you can't fool everyone." I kept blocking them, but new ones kept showing up. I didn't want to sound paranoid, but it felt like someone was watching me. Like she was trying to chip away at me slowly, hoping I'd break down and react publicly. And then I found out what she'd really been up to. I got lunch with an old friend from college, Melanie, who I hadn't seen in a while. Halfway through catching up, Melanie leaned in and said, "So, have you talked to Rachel lately?" I sighed. "No, we're not really friends anymore." She looked nervous. "Yeah, I figured. She's been telling people you had a breakdown. That you screamed at her in the restaurant and had to be escorted out." I choked on my drink. "What?" Melanie nodded. "Yeah. She said you flipped out, yelled at the waiter, and got banned from the place." I just stared at her, speechless. It was the exact opposite of what actually happened. Melanie continued. "She told people you'd been unstable for a while, that you were obsessed with her, and that she tried to cut ties for her safety." I almost laughed. Obsessed? She was the one making burner accounts and posting blog rants. Melanie looked at me carefully. I didn't believe her, but some people did. "I thought you should know." I felt my stomach drop. This wasn't just some childish feud. She was rewriting history. Telling lies so wild, so backwards, it made me question if anyone else believed her too. It was like watching someone set fire to a house you helped them build, and then they told the neighborhood you were the arsonist. So I decided to take one final step. I reached out to Le Jardin. I emailed the restaurant manager, explained that I needed a copy of the receipt from the night in question. I didn't give all the details, just said there was a misunderstanding I needed to clear up for legal reasons. He was kind. He pulled the receipt and confirmed the names on the cards used to pay. Mine and Rachel's. He also remembered the incident. The woman in black? She caused quite a scene. Our staff doesn't forget things like that. I asked if he'd be willing to write a short statement, just confirming that no one from our table was escorted out or banned. He agreed. I saved it in the folder with everything else. And then something weird happened. About a month later, the blog post disappeared. The fake Instagram account stopped. No new DMs. I thought, maybe she gave up. Then I got the email. It was from Rachel. Short. Cold. "I hear you've been collecting things. If you go public with anything, I'll sue for defamation." I stared at it for a long time. I didn't reply. I didn't need to, because I hadn't lied. And if she was scared, it meant she knew I could prove it. It meant she knew the truth still mattered. But something still didn't sit right. I couldn't figure out why she backed off so suddenly. Until I checked LinkedIn one night out of curiosity. Rachel had applied for a job at a design firm I happened to know someone at. They ran a standard background check. But they also, according to my friend, looked her up online and found her blog. She had applied using her real name, but forgot her anonymous blog was linked to the same email she listed in her portfolio. They saw it. They saw everything. She didn't get the job. And that was the last update I heard. For now. A few months passed. Things got quiet. The fake account stopped. The blog stayed gone. My job was secure. My friends, at least the real ones, stood by me. But I still felt this heaviness, like a storm had passed, but left the ground soaked and ugly. Every time I went out to dinner, I'd double-check my purse, my card, the check. I didn't trust anyone the way I used to. That's what betrayal does. It rots your gut. One afternoon, I ran into Rachel. I was grabbing coffee in Lincoln Park, same little corner spot I'd gone to for years. She walked in like a ghost. Pale, tired, eyes sunken. She looked thinner than I remembered. She saw me, froze, then turned to walk out. But I stood up and said, Rachel. She stopped. I know about the job, I said. The blog. The email to HR. All of it. She looked around, like hoping someone would pull her out of this. No one did. Just me. Just her. I didn't mean to ruin your life, she mumbled. I laughed once. You just meant to ruin mine? She didn't answer. I didn't make you order the most expensive thing every time. I didn't force you to lie to people about what happened. And I sure didn't write a blog pretending to be the victim while trashing me. Still, silence. So I said, you want to keep lying? Fine. Just remember, I kept receipts. And if you come for me again, I will not stay quiet. She didn't respond. Just turned and walked out. I thought that was it. Until a couple weeks later, I got an email from someone I didn't recognize. A woman named Elise. She was working on a podcast about toxic friendships and online harassment. Somehow, she'd gotten wind of what happened, probably from someone who had seen Rachel's old blog and wanted to talk to me about it. I told her I wasn't sure, but then she said something that stuck. There's a lot of people like her out there. People who manipulate, lie, twist things to make themselves look like the victim. You sharing what really happened? That could help someone else spot the signs before it's too late. So I said yes. We recorded the episode a few weeks later. I didn't use Rachel's real name. I didn't need to. I just told the story. The pattern. The manipulation. The night at the restaurant. The fallout. The fake accounts. The lies. The email threats. All of it. It went live. And it blew up. Thousands of listens. Comments flooded in from people who had lived through the same thing. People who felt seen. People who realized they weren't alone. But the twist? A few people figured out who Rachel was anyway. The internet never forgets. Screenshots of the old blog post resurfaced. Someone matched it to her design portfolio. Clients pulled out. Her online store went quiet. By the end of the month, her site was gone. Then came the message. From Rachel. I hope you're proud of yourself. You destroyed my life. I stared at it for a long time. And for the first time in months, I wrote her back. No, you destroyed your life. I just stopped covering the bill. I hit send. That was the last time I heard from her. And yeah, maybe I could have handled things differently. Maybe I let things go too long. Maybe I should have said something sooner or made boundaries clearer. But I know this, I never lied. I never manipulated. I never tried to ruin anyone's reputation. All I did was stop paying for someone who thought I owed them everything. So if anyone ever tries to make you feel guilty for saying no, remember this. Some people aren't asking for help. They're demanding control. And the moment you take it back, they will show you exactly who they are. So let them. Let it burn. And walk away. Paid in full.